everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and I am a self-employed mama of 4. My husband and I are on a journey to become debt-free using a zero-based budget and the cash stuffing method because our biggest goal is to invest wisely and give generously. So if you're interested in learning more, stay tuned. All right, you guys, well, it is the video we have all been waiting for. I am so excited for this 100 envelope challenge, Unstuffing. And before we dive in, I just have to say I have all my kids home except the baby. And so there's a lot of background noise, but you guys usually say you don't hear it too much. So Eli is watching his favorite penguin documentary. So he's in his joy zone. So all the noises you hear are him being so happy and joyful. So hopefully it's not too distracting. I'll try to talk kind of loud so that it maybe drowns out some of the background noise. Let's go ahead and dive in. I've never actually done this before. So I think what I'm gonna do is just, take all the cash out, unstuff all the envelopes, and then sort it, and then we'll count it at the very end. And I had kind of asked in my last video how you guys wanted me to do this, just because I've never done it. So I want to obviously create content that you guys enjoy watching. And most of you said a Q&A, so I thought that was fun. So I went ahead and posted on YouTube in my community and just asked for people to drop some questions they have. So I have printed off probably 30 questions. I'm not sure if we're going to get through all of them, but I figured I wanted to have enough questions, and then I'll probably have a section of the video too where it's just sped up and I have some music playing so we can have the best of both worlds. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and go like this. And this 100 envelope challenge is from LUXE Designs, and I will also link her shop in the description as well. I should have looked up when I started this. I don't even remember, but I do know that we stuffed roughly $400 a week into this since we started. And I'll put the start and end date in the description just because I think it's interesting. But my husband and I are so focused on getting our debt paid off, and we have a goal to have all of our debt paid off by December. You guys all know that nobody was paying their student loans for the last however many years. So if I could go back, I would have continued to pay them with no interest, but we had other things come up and we were tackling other debt in the meantime. And so all we really have left now is our student loans and my husband's vehicle. And so I wanted to do something fun while I was paying off my student loans. And since we didn't have payments to make or interest accruing, I decided I would do the 100 envelope challenge and try to get it done by the end of August, because interest starts again in September, which is tomorrow, because I'm filming this on August 31st. I think it's the 31st today. So just barely made it, but I'm going to unstuff this and go deposit it immediately into the bank. And then I'll be able to make that payment hopefully tomorrow, but whenever this money clears in my bank. But I'm excited to see how much we have, because I'd allowed a lot of rounding up and some rounding down, but yeah, let's just dive right into it. So I'm gonna be reading questions and answering them just as I go here. And I think I'm just gonna make a pile of cash over here and then go through and sort it after. I just feel like that's gonna make the most sense. These are in no particular order. So let's just start with the first question. The first question is actually funny that it's the first one on my sheet, because I was just talking about Eli, but somebody asked, maybe too personal, but can you tell us more about Eli? I love how you speak about him, like you accept him completely how he is. What are your hopes and dreams for him? How was it when you found out about his diagnosis? Much love. Let's see here. I can definitely tell you more about Eli. So Eli is our second born, and I don't think it really had anything to do with his autism, but I had something called venous lakes when I was pregnant with him, which means I just had blood in the lining of my placenta, and I had ultrasounds every other week my entire pregnancy because they were worried about his growth. And so he was born small and about a week early. So I went 39 weeks with him, but he was born smaller than all my other babies, but it only took him a month to catch up, and he's been in the 99th percentile for height and weight ever since. So he's gonna be a big guy, just like my husband. So I could tell he was delayed in his speech kind of early on. He wasn't really saying a whole lot, but I was still a new mom. My oldest was only maybe 1.5 at the time. And his doctor wasn't too concerned. And so, because he had all the social cues, he was smiling, he was laughing, he was making eye contact, he was playing with his brother. And so he's like, I just think he's gonna need extra time. And so he also walked relatively late. He didn't walk until 17 months. But it wasn't until he was about 2.5 that I said to his doctor, we need something, because he still wasn't talking. He was starting to have I was noticing some sensory challenges for him. And so that's when we did like an in-home, kind of like an early childhood development. So somebody came to our house once a week for an hour and just did some stuff with him, like some sensory stuff, and just kind of worked with him. And it was like really cool. So then after he graduated from that program, because they can only do that, I think, until they're 3, maybe 4. And so when he graduated from that program, I said to his doctor, like, we need more for him. And you really can't get services without a diagnosis. I already knew in my heart he was autistic. So I'm like, well, we really don't need the diagnosis because it really doesn't matter to us. But in order to get services, you need that diagnosis. And so we got him tested, and he did receive the diagnosis of autism. And it kind of, opened up a lot of doors, because we were able to get him into the services that he needs. And we just honestly got the diagnosis and like kind of threw it away when we got home, because it was like, all right, well, we got the paper we needed to get him the services, but we don't really care. Like, it's not like, hey, this is Eli and he's autistic. Like, that's not his identity. He is just Eli. And my husband and I always say we are the only ones that get an Eli, because he's just so funny and has all these crazy quirks. Like this morning, Liam came upstairs, he's the 8-year-old, with his hockey jersey on just because he felt like wearing it. And Eli just lost it and was like, wanted him to take it off, and was like throwing things and upset because he thought Liam was leaving to go to hockey, and that really makes him upset. So yeah, so he does speech and he does OT, and he's about to start ABA therapy. He's going into 1st grade, so he's in a life skills program at school. But our hopes and dreams for him are just, kind of open-ended. I just want him to live his best life. I want him to be happy. I want him to do things that bring him joy, whatever that looks like. And so my husband and I, we're not sure if he'll be able to live independently in the future. Maybe he will, but maybe he won't. So we want to buy land. We've always wanted to live on a farm. And so we wanted to buy land and build a house and a barn. I want to have horses and a bunch of animals and a garden and all the things. But we want to build a mother-in-law suite type thing for him, so that he can, if he grows up and he's not in a place to live on his own, then he can live there, but also have his independence. So that's kind of our hopes and dreams for him. Just really, like anyone wants for their kids. I just want him to be happy and live a fulfilling life. So that's a little bit about Eli. So the next question, I'm about to turn 20 in a few weeks, and I was wondering what advice you'd give to young adult budgeters. Like, what you think I should save for what you think I should save for that most young people don't think about. That's such a good question. So, all right, we had a crisis happen downstairs. Okay, so advice I would give to somebody about to turn 20, or just young people in general. Number 1, stay out of debt. It's not worth it. Do not, just no debt. If you do have debt, I would get that paid off as quickly as possible. But if you don't, I would open a Roth IRA and begin to invest into that Roth IRA. And then just think about, what you want for the future, and just start saving for that. And if you're not sure, just start like a broad savings, like some type of savings challenge, and just like stockpile that cash. Like that would be my best advice, and learn how to budget and get really good at a budget. Doesn't mean that you don't spend any money that you make. It just means that that money has a place to go, so that you're not like wondering where it went. And like, that's how people live paycheck to paycheck. You get paid, and then you don't like give that money a job, and you just kind of spend it, and then all of a sudden it's gone. So I would definitely make a budget. So I shouldn't say that, not everyone, that's not why everyone lives paycheck to paycheck, but most people. All right, next question. What was the first product in the Aesthetic Dollar shop, and how have you decided when to expand the number of products? So I don't even remember my first product, to be honest. I mean, it was probably custom envelopes, digital downloads, and I think I had some binder bundles. I don't even remember. It was so long. I mean, it was 8 months ago. Probably look back at my Instagram. But I think just like as time goes on, I have like launches and restocks and all of that. I invest most of those sales back into the business so that I can continue to expand. And I just think about what would I personally want in my setup, and that's basically then the products that I offer is like, what do I personally want in my setup? So I loved looking for new products and looking for new manufacturers and creating new things. Like I have a couple things coming this winter that I'm really excited about that I haven't talked about a ton, but you'll see them sooner rather than later. If they come in time, I would launch them for fall. I just don't think they're going to. So I don't know. I'm always coming up with new ideas and ways that I can offer tools that are going to really benefit people and, eliminate barriers when it comes to budgeting and cash stuffing. Okay, next question. Have you noticed other creators, one in particular that seems to use the same style, etc.? Does this bother you or flatter you? I guess both. I have noticed the same thing, and I think that there's a huge difference. I'll probably ruffle some feathers, but I'm going to answer this question anyway. I think there's a huge difference between being inspired by someone and then, kind of just straight up copying. And yes, it does bother me because I spend a lot of time and energy creating new things. And you guys know this by now. I value having unique items. I value having original items. And in the budgeting world, especially cash stuffing, there's just things that like are kind of the same. Like you really can't make them any other way. So I know a lot of people don't do it on purpose. It's just kind of like the business. It's just kind of, what happens. But yeah, when I create something with the intention of it being new and original and different, and then I start seeing like the same things popping up that are extremely similar with maybe one small thing changed, that bothers me. But that's why I got trademarked. So the Aesthetic Dollars trademarked, and I have copyrights on most of my stuff. So I just did that to protect myself because, as both a content creator and a digital, I'm not really a digital designer, but I do create planners and envelopes and placeholders and things like that, binders now. It's just important to me to have that copyright to just protect my work and my time and my effort and my brand, really. So I want everyone to win. I think that there's enough room for everyone in this business. I just think that people should be original and just like create things themselves rather than, copying, I guess. So, and it does happen on accident sometimes too, and I get that, but yeah. So, that's kind of, I have more to say about that, but that's all I'm gonna say on YouTube about that. What jobs have you had besides being a mom? What has your hubby done? So my husband played hockey in high school, and out of high school, he played semi-pro hockey. So he didn't have a lot of jobs because hockey took up a lot of his time. And so he had like some random jobs here and there. He actually worked for a company called Bird's Eye, which is like a farming company. You've probably heard of it. They have frozen vegetables and canned vegetables at the grocery store, but he drove combines and tractors for them in college. And then now he's had he's a project manager for roofing, siding, and windows, and he's had multiple jobs doing that for both commercial and residential. So that's kind of what he's done. I've had a million jobs. Okay, that's a lot. Look how pretty it is though. It's all like folded all nice. I love that. So I'm gonna get these because these are about to fall over. So I'm just gonna really quick put these back in their box. So I got my first job when I was, I think 14 or 15. I got a job at the Dairy Queen and I absolutely loved it. There was a lot of so I was, a freshman in high school when I got that job. And there was a lot of college kids that worked there, and they were super mean to the high school kids that worked there. So I think I worked there for maybe a year and then just decided it wasn't worth it anymore, because they would do awful things. Like they would put pickle juice in because we could have like a drink in the back, like a fountain drink. So I'd have like a Dr. Pepper, and then I'd go to take a drink and there'd be like pickle juice in it. Like that's what the college kids would do and it wasn't just me, it was like all the high school kids, like almost like a hazing ritual. I don't know. But so then after that, I was a cashier at a grocery store, and that same grocery store had a floral shop. And so I started working there. And then at the same time, I also worked at a little cafe. I was a waitress at a little cafe. And I kind of did both of those two jobs until I went to college. And then when I got to college, I got a job at another small cafe it was kind of like, I mean, it was individually owned, but it was so similar to the one I worked at in high school. So I waitressed there in college, and then needed more money. I was broke, and as soon as I went to college, my parents, I mean, if I really needed something, they'd help out, but for the most part, they were like, you're on your own, like you're 18 and you got to figure out life. And I, like, looking back, really appreciate that. So I got a second job working at a floral shop at the same grocery store chain, just in a different town. And I actually ended up working there for almost 8 years. So, and then other jobs I worked at a group home for many years, and then ended up managing that group home and another one. And this was all in college. I had like a million jobs in college. I also was a barista at Starbucks for almost 3 years. And then so there's a question in here somewhere about what I went to college for. So my husband went to college for construction management, which is what he's doing. He owns his own company now. And then I went to school. The first 2 years was pre-vet, because I wanted to be a veterinarian my whole life. So I did pre-vet for 2 years, and then decided I didn't want to go to college for 8 years. School is just not my thing. It's not my jam. So then I changed my major to social work. And so my first social work job out of college was, we're just gonna like put it into piles, I think is how I'm gonna do it. And so I worked at Big Brothers Big Sisters, was my first social work job, and I worked there for about 2 years, and that's my first month working there is when I met Antonio. I don't have many ones, I know that for a fact. We'll just put those here. That's how I met Antonio, was when I worked at Big Brothers Big Sisters. So yeah, I don't think I'm missing any. I think those are the only jobs. Oh, I did work at Hollister for like 2 weeks, and then I hated it. They were so strict. Like I wasn't allowed to wear makeup, and in college that really bothered me. I wasn't allowed to wear makeup. You could only wear certain things there. I always got a headache because it smelled so strong. So I think I lasted like 2 weeks at Hollister. I didn't even really like their clothes. They just like, I saw they were having like walk-in interviews, and I was at the mall, and I just like walked in and was like, can I interview? Because I was so like, I needed cash. Oh, so funny. Like that was like something I really didn't think through. And then after I left Big Brothers Big Sisters, I actually left Big Brothers Big Sisters because I opened up an in-home daycare, and I did an in-home daycare for a couple of years. And then in the meantime is when I was, so I had joined Mary Kay, 2014, I think, because I wanted my products at half off, because I'm just always looking for a deal. And so that's why I joined, and then I just really fell in love with like the culture and the company and the relationships, and obviously the products, or I wouldn't have joined in the first place. But I had kind of decided to move up into leadership, and so I did that in 2016 and was kind of doing it pretty full time. Earned my first car, and after that I just decided I wanted to just do that, because in-home daycare to me was like, oh, I'm gonna be able to work from home, but you're not really your own boss. I mean, there's so many rules to follow with the state and the city and the county, and so my in-home daycare was open for probably, I don't even know, less than a year. It was a little bit less than a year. So, but I've been full-time self-employed ever since 2016. So Those were all the jobs I've had. And somebody asked too, I don't know where the question is. Somebody asked what my skincare routine is. So I use the Time-Wise Miracle Set, and some other things too. But that's like my main, like every morning and every night religiously. I use some other stuff too. If you guys want me to make a short sometime on like my skincare routine, I can definitely do that. See here. What's the next question? If you had your time again, would you and your husband still take out the student loan debt you are now paying off? Was it worth it, or would you have found another path into careers you have now? That's such a good question because I met my husband in college, so I'm really grateful for the experience. As far as the student loan debt, no. Like I could have easily like worked with the amount of money I was making in college. Like I don't even know where it went. Like I just spent it all right away. I easily could have just paid my way through college and not had student loan debt, but I didn't. My husband though, he has the most student loan debt because I did take out I only took out student loans to pay for my classes. I always paid my rent and bought my groceries and my gas and my clothing and going out money and all of that. Like I always like worked and then paid those bills. My husband, Chris, he just took out loans for everything, like to pay rent, all of that. So I don't know. Yes and no. Me, I'm not really using my degree, but I also had a lot of really great experiences, and I'm still friends with people that I met in college. Married to one of them, So I don't know, because I went to college 2 hours away from my hometown. So I wouldn't have gone there. I went to met my husband. I went to met all the friends that like lifelong friends that we have now, where we celebrate birthdays together, and yeah. So I don't know how to answer that. The debt was not worth it. I could have worked my way through college. So if I could go back, I'd change that. I could have paid for it. I just didn't want to. I thought paying off student loans was just normal. It's like just a rite of passage. It's not. I hope my kids go to trade school. Just kidding. They can do whatever they want, but stuff pays well. All right. Oh, I love this question. So I've always found it fun that you add some money weekly to drinks. What's you and your husband's favorite drink? So my husband, he's kind of a beer guy, just like really basic. He kind of switches it up every once in a while. Right now he's drinking Busch. So Busch is usually what he'll grab. Or during the summer, he does like to drink vodka lemonades. So he'll do that every once in a while. We really only drink I'd say 2 or 3 nights a week after the kids go to bed. We like to go sit on our patio, and we have like a propane, fire thing in the middle of all of our patio furniture. So we like to just go sit out there and just like talk and have a drink. So he'll usually in the summer have a vodka lemonade. I am so basic. Black cherry White Claw. That's most of the time what I'll drink. I'll drink a vodka lemonade once in a while, but I usually makes my stomach hurt a little bit. So I just like to keep it simple with the White Claw. I also, if I'm gonna drink beer, I like Bud Heavy. I just like Budweiser in a bottle. Okay, so here's a 2-part question. How often do you cash stuff the $5, $10, and $20 savings challenges? So I do them weekly. So when I unstuff my wallet, if I have extra rollover money, I'll stuff them in there. But you can do that one however you want to. Like you can put it in your budget that like once a week you stuff like one of each bill into that savings challenge. I mean, you can kind of do it however you want to. I'm just gonna set these ones aside. Oh, we'll just keep them, it's fine. Okay, second part of the question. What's your favorite nail color for the fall? Oh my gosh, I'm so boring. This is what I do. And there's another question in here somewhere when asking like when I get my nails done, what do I ask my nail lady to do? So this one is called a pink and white ombre. So I usually just do this, or they have like a sheer collection and I'll sometimes do that. And I get acrylic nails because my real nails are horrendous. I bite them if I don't have acrylic on them. So, but when I have them done, I don't touch them. Okay. I'm gonna do one more question and then I'll play some music for you guys so you can just kind of like relax and so that this video doesn't get too long. Okay, so I have like 20 more questions I haven't answered. So have you ever backtracked immensely and what did you do to recourse? I think that's a really good question to answer on here. So yes, oh my gosh, yes. So my first full year of being self-employed, I made way more than I ever did doing in-home daycare and my social work job, and also wasn't prepared, like didn't set aside money for taxes or anything. And we ended up owing in like $10,000 that year. I remember leaving our CPA's office, me and my husband went and sat in my car and I just like lost it and was like bawling. I was like, we need to sell the house. We need to like sell the kids. We gotta get rid of everything. Like we're gonna go bankrupt. Like I was just spiraling out of control over this. And anyway, I was just spiraling out of control. I was like, obviously we got through it. It was fine. But when you actually sit down and like look at numbers, it just brings this sense of peace where I was like, okay, like we can make this work. Obviously we did. We did like a payment plan and got it paid off. And for a couple years it was rough because it was like we would get it paid off and then not be able to set money aside for taxes for the next year. So then we'd have to like pay that off. And then by the time we got that paid off, so it's just kind of this weird cycle, but eventually we're caught up now. So that was like one thing I'll never forget. It was just like, after you get a return, you get a return, you get a return. And then all of a sudden you have to pay in a lot. So let's see. Okay, you guys, I'm sorry for all the cuts. My kids keep coming up here and asking for things, which is fine. That's why it kind of I have to keep editing this. So anyway, okay, another question. This one's easy and quick, so I'll do two more. Is there a chance that you will add Afterpay as a payment option to your Aesthetic Dollar website? No. And the reason is because it's like debt, and I don't want people to go into debt to buy, or have to make payments on my products. Do a savings challenge, save up. Like I'll put wouldn't that be fun? Maybe I'll put a free digital download on my website for my website. Just be like the Aesthetic Dollar Savings Challenge. You can digitally download it and then save up for whatever you want. But I'm never gonna put Afterpay on my website. I'm also not gonna do PayPal ever. I did that for 2 days and it was the worst 2 days of my life. And it held my money for like my payout money. I had 10 orders come through on PayPal in the 2 days that I had it. It held 80% of the money for 4 weeks or 6 weeks or something like that. And then I had to go through this whole rigorous thing where, and I don't know why, but they chose like 10 transactions that I had to prove that I sent out. And then I had to explain it was like, it took me an hour and a half because they froze my account until I like did this extra stuff. And I'm like, this is stupid. So I took it off. So no PayPal and no Afterpay, but you can use a debit card. And you can use like Apple Pay and I think Google Pay. So still pretty simple to be able to check out. Okay. Do you have goals to scale your business or are you more drawn to being a small business? Honestly, like Jesus take the wheel. I really didn't have a plan when I started this. I just like started my YouTube channel to have something to hold me accountable and keep me on track. Because one thing I really admire about other people is when they have integrity. And so that's something that I make sure that I live out in my daily life is integrity. And so I knew that if I made a YouTube video and put it out there and was like, this is what I'm doing, then if I didn't do it and I just disappeared, I would like not be able to live with myself. So I started the YouTube channel literally to hold myself accountable and to just maybe inspire some people. And then everyone was like, where'd you get your envelopes? Where'd you get this? Where'd you get that? And then I'm like, well, maybe I'll like sell it so that other people can enjoy these tools also. And I can like show people how I use them. And so that's like how it started. And then it just blew up, and it is, I don't know how. I mean, I do, it was God, because there's no way that I don't know anything about business. I know nothing about marketing. Well, this kind of business. I mean, everything was trial and error. I mean, finding manufacturers, like all of that. And I've worked really hard and spent a lot of money to find my manufacturers. And I get a lot of questions on like who they are and where they are. And I'm just like not gonna share that because I have spent so much time and effort and money to find them. And we just talked about the whole like copying things. So I just really value original products and having things that are unique to my brand. So, I mean, I don't intend on staying, you know, I intend on continuously growing. Eli's coming up. What's up, bud? Do you want milk? I mean, okay, what I was trying to say is that I want to continuously expand. And just going off, I'm gonna like finish this before I'm done answering questions. Somebody also asked about like, if I'm gonna like move into another space. I have to. Like, my entire office and our living space in the basement is just like full of inventory, and I have more coming, and I just like don't have the space. Like, binders take up a lot of space. So I've been looking at a few different places, nothing like big or insane, just like a place to store all my stuff. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna play a little bit of music for this part, so just enjoy it, and then when I come back, we'll count. All right, it is the moment we have all been waiting for. I'm finally going to count how much I saved in my 100 envelope challenge. And first things first, I'm going to use my fingertip moistener. So this is from Making It Bling by Erica. I will link her shop in the description, but she like blings out a bunch of cute stuff. She's black and blue on YouTube and Instagram, so definitely go check her out there too. But yeah, I also have this pen from her, and I have a green one. So she sent me a green one because it's my favorite color as a freebie. Like, she's literally the best. But yeah, so definitely check out her shop. She has a bunch of cute things. The second I saw her use this fingertip moistener on her channel, I'm like, I need that. It just makes counting cash so much easier. So here we go. So we'll start with the hundreds, and I'm just gonna like work my way down. So 100, 200, 300, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, and then we have 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 50, 1,000. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 50, 2,000. 51, 52, 53, 50, and then 350. My gosh, I'm so excited. It's gonna take such a huge chunk off of my student loans, and I cannot wait. Highly recommend making paying off debt fun. Okay, so I'm gonna count these how I normally count them in my head, just so that I don't mess up. 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 3, 2, 4, 6, 8, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 500, 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 3, 2, 4, 6, 8, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 500, 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 3, 2, 4, 6, 8, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8. So we had 480 plus 1,000. It's my first video. I'm so nervous that I'm like gonna count wrong. I guess I'll know when I put it in the ATM. Although I'll probably have to take this into the bank because the ATM at my bank only lets you put in so many at a time. And the ATM is so dang slow. I feel like I'm sitting there forever. Like when I deposit my cash Unstuffing money, I'm like, ugh, I should just bring it in. All right, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 91. I'm just gonna do 100s for these. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 200. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 300. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 94, exactly 400. All right, now for fives. I count my fives like Erica now. All right, 5, 10, 15, 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, 95, 100. 5, 10, 15, 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, 95. Oh my gosh, exactly 200. I don't remember. How much are you supposed to save with this? Is this correct? Did I save the correct amount? It was like I always rounded up and down, so I'm assuming it's close, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So $5,146 is what we saved total for the 100 envelope challenge. I cannot believe it. This 100 envelope challenge, like I said, is from LUXE Designs, and I will do it again in the future. I absolutely love it. The quality is amazing. It stood up the test of time. Everything, like all of these envelopes are still in great shape. So I will be able to do this challenge over and over and over again. And it just honestly, it made paying off debt so much fun. So my student loan balance is around 20,000. So now this will knock it down to under 15,000, which I cannot believe. And it was fun. Like, I think paying off debt is so boring, and this made it really fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it blessed you in some way, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video.